Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another 3D Hangout. You got myself, Noe Pedro Ruiz. I'm a designer here at Adafruit, and joining me every week is my brother Pedro. What's up, man?
What's going on, everybody? I'm Pedro Ruiz, the creative tech here at Adafruit, and every week we come to share 3D printing and DIY electronics featuring components from Adafruit.
Oh yeah, this is the show where we combine 3D printing and DIY electronics to make inspirational projects to inspire you folks.
That's right. Every week we have an awesome assortment of segments.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and run through those.
Sure thing. Here we go. We start off the show with what are you prototyping?
So we take a look at some of the current projects we're working on for a future episode.
That's right. Then we'll do layer by layer.
So we take a look at some of the CAD techniques we use to design all the projects.
Shop Talk.
Shop Talk, we got some awesome new toys to play with, so we'll be going over some of those.
We got a Q&A.
That's right. You guys can leave questions on any of the videos, and we will respond. We'll gather them up for a future episode.
And something new, folks. Community Makes.
That's right. That's when we take a look at some people who actually build their projects.
That's right. Highlight you folks, the spotlight, and we'll talk more about some cool things to do with that. Okay, so what are you prototyping? Let's jump into that.
Oh, actually, that's you first.
Okay, cool. So I've been working on a Halloween project. This is a collaboration project with Phil B. You'll probably know that he made this very awesome animatronic eye using a teensy board and a 1.4-inch TFT display. So that's what I have here. You guys might know what this little creature is. He is a one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater. So the cool thing about this is that it's actually going to be a doorbell. So I'm going to attach it to my wall and let kids ring it. And how do you ring the doorbell? Well, you push in the eye, and I also have two buttons, one set to wink it and one set to the doorbell. Yeah, because you know, your house is running off 16 AC. You don't want to mix that, or you could burn the board, which I did. But anyway, really cool stuff here. A couple different materials. We have Ninja Flex, purple Ninja Flex for the wings. So that's what's going on there. Transparent, opaque, whatever you want to call it, purple PLA that we have in the Adafruit shop. We also have Glow Fill over here, and inside this horn, it's hollow. It's actually a ultraviolet, a purple LED, the 5mm version. So that's what's going on here. Instead of using the OLED screen, it's using that TFT display because it's way better for
cheaper
frame
as
rates,
well.
and it's cheaper as well. It's, the frame rate's really good for video and stuff. But that's it. This is it right here. I got a little power switch in there. Inside here we have, of course, the teensy board, the screen. To power it, we're using the LiPo backpack that's commonly used for the Pro Trinket, but actually works with other boards like the Teensy.
That's right.
And also, it's got a 500 milliamp battery in there. Everything fits in this nice, slim little case. Only 2 screws, and it's like 6 pieces. This face piece, you can't see the seam because I glued it together using E6000, so it works really well. It was modeled completely in Fusion 360 using free-form modeling tools. So it's all made with T-splines. So it was a really good exercise, very challenging project. But here it is. I'll be releasing the files probably next week. And yeah, big shout out to Phil B, who did, of course, the software and figured out all the hardware. Oh,
he actually also did the sketch that you based the trace off of this. So you scoured the net for some very cute-looking one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eaters.
It wasn't actually going to be a one-eyed, one-horned purple flying people eater. It was going to be Mike Miskowski from Monsters Inc. But when I showed it to Phil, he was like, you know what? That kind of looks like this. And I was like, oh, that's right. The childhood memories are all coming back of the song. So if you guys don't know it, I'll link below a video on the childhood song for that one. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was the little plastic sphere. It's a little plastic sphere that we got from Tap Plastics. But all that's linked in Phil B's tutorial. You can get the parts now. And I guess we'll jump right into
this week's discount code is Pi Tablet, celebration of this week's project. And don't forget, we also got some very cool special offerings. You spend $100 or more, you're going to get a free Premiere Proto board automatically added to your cart.
Okay.
$50 more than that, you're going to get a free 5-volt trinket.
Oh yeah.
Another $50, you're going to get free UPS ground shipping.
That's right.
And then another $50 there.
$250 or more.
$250 or more. You're going to get
all that stuff plus a Pro Trinket.
That's right.
5-volt one.
So if you get something like a 3D printer, you're going to have all these goodies so you can right away have components to start building an awesome project.
Wicked deal, folks. That's this month.
Until supplies last.
Until supplies last, okay. Oh my God. Yeah,
cool.
so that's what's going on. That's what I've been prototyping. Pedro, you want to share with us this week's project?
So this week's project.
Just leave it there because it looks so cool.
Yeah, no, it's been a long time coming. The 7-inch multi-touch display from the Raspberry Pi Foundation has been out for a little bit.
Our most epic Pi tablet.
Yeah.
Multi-touch, folks.
Yeah, it supports
here.
like up to 10 fingers. It's an IPS, so it has a very awesome viewing angle on here. And a couple of people have came out with 3D printing enclosures for it. Of course, some of them have made it completely portable.
Oh yeah.
And we even have some stands that we have in the shop from Pyromony.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
Yeah, so everybody seems to stick to the standard of having all the boards stacked on top of each other, which makes it kind of chunky and of course doesn't make it portable. So I took a different approach, had a completely different way of actually mounting the outer frame of this. The way that it's mounted is actually with a couple of tabs that grasp onto the back of the display. So if you take a look at the learning system that we have here, the step-by-step guide, you can see exactly how everything is laid out. So we have a frame that nicely spreads all of the boards out so you can have a more slim design.
Oh yeah.
And if you scroll down a little bit where you are actually soldering all of the connections directly to the pins, because the jumper cables usually have that big plastic part that sort of gets in the way and restricts.
Some space.
Exactly.
So this really cuts down on space. The guide, of course, is available right now. Tell us about the ribbon cable.
Yeah, so we're actually using a longer 200 millimeter ribbon cable we have in the shop. Of course, it's labeled as the camera ribbon cable, but it worked just fine for the display.
That's right.
So if you scroll down a little bit more, you can see
power boost. This makes it rechargeable. So you can
portable,
stick
of course.
a big beefy 2500 milliamp LiPo battery. It gets all mounted to the board there. So I really like how you mounted everything. This thing is really clever. Tell us about the battery, how you mounted that.
Yeah, so the battery is mounted with a little bracket that has little slits, so you can have a zip tie on there to hold the battery in place. And of course, we'll see in a little bit the source files for this. You can have a bigger battery inside there. Yeah,
I like how you sort of reused the mounting holes on the display driver. That's clever. So you're really using every little mounting hole that you can to make it as slim as you can.
Yeah, that's the only thing that actually stacks on top of anything, just the battery that goes right on top of the driver board. Okay, well, check out the guide, folks. We've got it linked for you below. That's this week's project. And a really cool thing that we're starting to do with Autodesk Fusion, since this was designed in Fusion, you can download it, of course, up here. You can download it, say you're using SolidWorks, you're using Open, what is it called? Not OpenSCAD, but the other one. Onshape.
Onshape, thank you. Onshape is so awesome. It's a CAD-based one. Web-based CAD. Thank you. Step files, DXF, STLs are all available to download here. Really cool in Fusion that you get all sorts of, so this is in the browser. I can see all this right here, and it's a dynamic link, so that means if you update it, it will get updated
you'll see
here.
All this, yeah.
So check out a couple of features here that we have in the sort of preview mode. You can explode the design. It's running kind of slow, but man, it's super smooth on the browser. It's
so you can see all the components that I use to model all of this. Of course, we have a library of all of the parts that you can use to completely modify this. Say you wanted to add an amplifier or a speaker.
Here's just the
on
power
top of that.
boost.
You can definitely
standoff. Sorry.
So you could definitely add standoff little mounting parts to the lid. Actually, it has plenty of space if you wanted to add that on there.
Very cool. I just love stepping through this thing.
Very cool. You can actually also go through the what's it called again? The analysis.
Yeah, it's a section analysis, so you can sort of step through your enclosure.
Yeah, so a lot of the times when you're modeling something in tight quarters, you might have geometry that gets in the way of being able to see things, and this allows you to sort of slice the model in between and see what all the see behind geometry, so you can add components inside there.
It's a lot like looking at your G-code inside of Simplify 3D.
Yes,
it's kind of cool. You get your model browser, so you can see all the little layers that build up the thing. So it's really cool. This is by far the best sort of preview modeler. Yeah, you can actually access this on your Android phone, your iPhone, your iPad. You get access to all this stuff. Autodesk is really pushing it hard on A360. So it's really cool.
Very excellent for doing collaboration work as well. So you have multiple people working on things. You can have different versions. You can see it update in real time. So very handy for all of that.
All right, well check that out, guys. It's available now to download if you want to modify it, like Pedro was saying. Add a speaker, whatnot.
Add a speaker, add a bigger battery. You can modify the height of the outer frame. And all the little pieces that make up the frame are also included in there, so you can definitely modify this to your heart's content. Definitely check this out.
This week's project, check it out. All right, do you want to jump into my layer by layer thing?
Yeah, so we're going to check out how to hollow things that come out of Tinkercad.
Yeah, sure, so that's pretty much it. So real quick here, let me cue this up. So yeah, I wanted to test out some new material, which we'll talk about a little bit. But yeah, so check this design out. I designed this in Tinkercad like 3 something like that years ago, and I started in Tinkercad. That's how I learned how to 3D model. I did a little bit of Maya, but I started in Tinkercad. So I thought I'd go ahead and print my evil face planter. And the cool thing is you can save it out as an STL here. And inside of Mesh Mixer, this is where I want to do a hollowed shell. So you can import it into Mesh Mixer, which is a free software from Autodesk as well. You get this here, and check out these little red things here. The model actually has some holes in it, so it's not a watertight mesh. So under analysis, you can do an inspector, and it'll give you flat out where the holes are. And then just with one click, it'll fix everything for you. So I don't even have to individually pick them. I can just hit update all, and it makes it an automatic mesh. So you definitely need to do that before sort of playing around with a mesh. So that's really cool, really good for repairing stuff. Under edit, I went to hollow. And this is going to calculate some distances, and by default, it gives you a thickness of 2 millimeters. I want to change it to 1.5 because it's a little bit too thick. I like to use 1.5 for all my stuff. And it gives you a sort of a preview thing, and you want to hit the Update Hollow button, and that'll recalculate all the polygons. You get a nice little preview here to make sure everything looks good. So you can sort of see that ghosting shell, right? So that's showing you the distance. You hit Apply. It makes a hollow, but now I don't have a hole yet. So I actually have to create a cut in order to get an opening. So under Edit still, there's something called Plane Cut, and by default, it'll sort of position it in the face there. So that's the cut. You can sort of inspect it there, but using the little handle, like the green one, I can start transforming and rotating the little thing there. And you'll notice it's like kind of doing by point increments. So it's not really snapping. So if you move your cursor while dragging, you get this sort of like ticker thing, and that starts snapping it by 5-degree increments. So I'll put it at 90 degrees, then I can use the arrows to transform the actual cut. So I'll bring it all the way to the top. You can see where I can start fine-tuning it there. So I'll bring it just right under there. And then I can just hit Apply. Oh, you want to hit Hard Edge, because I want that. Usually it tries to do an organic cut, but I want a nice flat edge. So I hit hit the little checkbox there, hit Apply, and now I have a really nice geometrically shell, so it looks really good. Yeah, so now you can export it out as an STL. There's a nice export button. I'll save it as an STL, bring it into my slicer, and pretty much slice it for whatever profile I have. Just by looking at the geometry on here, you can see that it's going to handle the overhangs really well. No need for supports. Just a quick thing about this thing. It was actually featured in a 3D printing book. Yeah. So that was really cool. It got a lot of likes on Thingiverse. It's on my Ekin account, which I'll have it linked below. I'll probably bring it into Adafruit or something. But yeah, we're testing out this new material, and let's go ahead and jump into shop talk now. That's my layer by layer. One thing I want to say is you never want to use one CAD package for everything. You want to sort of be familiar with different CAD packages. Tinkercad for the simplicity. Mesh Mixer for the mesh mixing. You want to hollow things out. You can't do that in Tinkercad. You bring it in there as STL, clean up your, analyze it, clean it up. Really cool workflow. A lot of people are using Mesh Mixer, so check it out if you haven't already. It's free. But yeah, what am I printing in it? Freaking wood, man. It's a planter. That's what it was designed for, to hold plants and stuff. We've made quite a few, but let's go ahead and jump into
this week's
our overhead
talk. Yeah. So we're testing out some new material just released from ColorFabb. This is actually CorkFill. They are
C-O-R-K.
Yep. So they're adding this to their line of fiber-based filament. So
they have wood fill. They have bamboo fill. Now Cork.
Yeah.
Fill.
So you might have seen the link sword that we made using the bamboo fill.
Yeah,
we also made a whole video on doing finishing techniques, like doing sanding and finishing for that. So the difference between bamboo and cork is that this is a lot more sturdier.
Yeah.
It still has that same sort of smell when you're printing with
Sure.
it. It has a darker color, and as you can see here, it's very...
it's freaking stiff. It's rigid.
really
This stuff
stiff, yeah.
is really strong. I tried breaking it. Like, I'm trying not to break it, but it gave us a pretty much force, and I couldn't break
yeah.
it.
So when we first printed this out, when it's, I guess, like fresh out of the nozzle, sort of, I guess, wet, it felt like it was a little bit
dry.
spongy.
So
No,
you-
it was spongy,
yeah.
yeah. So I was thinking that we would use this sort of like...
A little more softer, maybe?
Sort of like a Ninja Flex or something like that, where
Oh,
you'd be able
really?
to use it as a cushion. But as it dried out, it became super stiff.
Yeah,
So
it's
stiff, in
rigid.
fact, that when we compare it to the bamboo fill is actually pretty brittle when compared to it.
It's a little bit
so
more weak.
here, yeah.
Okay.
So as this is the bamboo fill right here. So
It's a lot lighter.
It's a lot lighter.
What does it look like? Yeah.
Exactly. And the differentiator here is going to be that the bamboo is able to be stained. You're able to sand it down,
Yeah.
whereas this is already dark enough. So if you wanted to add sort of like a red color, it's already dark enough. So
Right.
where you're probably not going to be able to see that. So the differentiator here is going to be, I guess, in strength.
Right
So
on.
if we take
Okay.
sort of this is the bamboo fill right here, and we try to bend this, you can see that it
It's brittle.
instantly breaks. And we
Okay.
actually did have some problem with when we were printing the link sword. We did
Yeah.
notice that it could become brittle and break off
So
like
you
that.
needed more shells. I remember.
Yeah,
you
so I
doing
added
that.
more shells.
This is just 2 shells, right?
Yeah, this is 2 shells.
this stuff is
So if we take a
strong.
look at the cork,
I'm trying to break it. I can't break
take
it.
a look at that right there. It definitely has more bending power there.
All right.
So
Yay.
take that.
So there's some specific use cases here. So you printed these horns out. Tell me a little bit about the horns, right?
Yeah, so these horns, we even this
I
is
made
a,
these horns. I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah,
in
you made
1-2-3D.
these horns in
There's a
1-2-3D.
Larry Barlayer, yeah. 1-2-3D, yeah.
Oh,
There's a
so
Larry
you
Barlayer
used like
tutorial on it.
lofts to
Sure,
create
and
this,
sketches.
right?
Yep. Nice and
And-
hollowed, very cool. It's a big hit. Put some LEDs in there if you're using transparent Ninja Flex, but
Exactly, yeah.
it's kind of cool. You can have it as like wooden horns.
Mhm.
That's really cool.
So we're definitely still looking at this, trying to figure out
Yeah, I
what
think
other
we wanna
things,
stock it,
other
yeah.
properties, before we stock this.
Okay.
So I think they have
I'm
nice.
printing that planter we just did a Larry Barlayer on right now on the Flash Forge. So 220 works just fine. Maybe 210,
Yeah.
230 totally. Prints just like PLA.
Don't need to have a heated bed.
There's no cleanup on this, man. This is it's
Yeah.
crazy. Now tell me, what printer printed this?
Yeah, so you might have saw last week us playing with the M3D that we have right
Here
here.
she is.
So tiny that we just
We just
bring
bring
it
it out of
anywhere,
the.
yeah.
bring it out of the-
So this isn't even a high resolution too. This
That's
is
right.
like 0.25 millimeters, and
Oh,
it
okay. It
did
looks
a
really
really
good.
good job
It handled
with
the
doing the
overhangs really,
overhang,
really
yeah.
well. So it's a good printer, but unfortunately, guys, it is down at the moment. Tell us why. What happened?
Yeah,
to
so
it?
we're having some Y skipping problems. We're in contact with their tech support there,
Sure.
but it turns out that some of the units shipped with a smaller Y belt, about a millimeter
Okay.
shorter than it should have been, and that they're having problems with the tensioning.
Okay.
It's causing a little more stress on the motors than it should, and we still have to run some Y
tests, yeah?
tests on it. Yeah,
To
that
really
we haven't-
pinpoint
We just
the
haven't
problem.
gotten around to it. Yeah.
There's also a possibility that there's something flaky with the driver board, I believe.
Yeah, so it's definitely not trivial programming the Atmega chip that they're using inside here.
Mhm.
So there could be some problems with that. So yeah, we as soon as they figure that out, we'll take another look at this.
Right.
We'll have some more downtime to
Sure.
take a little bit troubleshooting look at this. But yeah, definitely something that we're still interested. Just have to. You got to work some kinks out.
Of course, like most spinners, yeah.
Yeah, so we were able to get a handful of really good high quality prints.
Right.
So it's just down for the moment.
Right
We'll
on.
talk more about this once we figure that out. But yeah,
Sure.
still can't get over the fact how
So tiny.
just
Good price
Uh,
point, and yeah, we'll keep on testing on it and see if we can get it back in Chuchin.
yeah. So again, the CorkFill from ColorFabb.
Yeah.
We have the bamboo already in stock.
Yep, that's
wanna-
right. If you want to pick
especially
up some
for-
bamboo fill, 10% off, you can get it using coupon code PiTablet. That's this week's project.
That's right. Don't forget all of the awesome goodies you get for depending on what you spend. It's automatically added to your cart. You don't have to do anything. And
Okay.
definitely take advantage of that. And also, can't forget also that we have same day shipping if you're in the Manhattan area. Certain
Oh,
zip
yeah, this
codes
guy.
will instantly, it's the closest thing that you could have us having a retail store.
We've got some field deals for you folks. Be sure to check that out. They're all listed above there. We got to run through the show. So let's jump into the next segment for Shop Talk.
Yeah, so
lights, camera, action. We got some lights. Tell us about the lights.
Yeah, so as you guys know, we started off doing like video production, 3D animation. So we have a ton of very big, very hot.
These guys have served us well for 5 to 6 years, or maybe even
so
more.
Lamara has been testing out some very cool LED lights. She was like, "Hey,
do you guys want some lights?
Here's some giant lights. You guys want them?"
These lights are old and hot, and they're heavy and hefty.
Yeah, so every time that we have to do like a shoot, they were literally sweating bullets because of how hot.
We got one over there, and it's hot.
Yeah, so we have 3 of these set up.
That's right. It came as a kid. Smith Victor again. Wouldn't recommend them now because the
They're
LED
quite
ones are
pricey. Yeah.
Okay.
So as you can see, I'm taking all this apart. This ginormous 500-watt light bulb that's like as big as my head. Like we couldn't even touch it because the oil, would get on there and burn. Right. So we're able to use the stands.
Reuse the stands
on there.
Okay. So just take that
here
apart.
are the giant LED panels that Lamar sent over. They are from LuxPad. This can be run on batteries. It has temperature adjuster, brightness adjuster, and just look at how thin these guys are.
I'm gonna get technical. 3200K through 5600K is the adjustable temperatures on it.
Yeah. So this is one we're looking to stock in the shop.
So we want a
little guy,
in the shop.
The little guy,
it's a
actually.
One, but it pumps out a lot of light for this little guy, and it's got a nice battery. Tell us a little bit about the battery.
Yeah, so again, it's temperature adjustable. You can run it off a battery, and because of that, we have these very awesome battery adapters in the shop. We have ones for Nikon, ones for Canon.
That's right.
I think we even have like a Sony one too.
And comes with a hot shoe and a tripod stand mount for it, so that's what we're showing over here.
Yep. And just a comparison here. Just how thin they are.
Yeah, really thin.
Other big
very
ones,
power efficient, guys. So we're gonna save a lot on power, and we're gonna be able to, stay a little bit more cool.
Oh my God, yeah.
Which is nice. We can adjust the temperature if we want. So it's definitely a good replacement, folks. If you are thinking about getting some light replacements, check out these LuxPad things.
Yeah, actually,
we're trying to get them in the shop.
That's our engineer, K-Town, went over to the shop and actually measured these with like a light meter and found that
man.
These super color accurate.
Yeah.
They are.
They're legit.
Blow me away,
They're super legit. So one of the projects that you want to do you actually want to turn this into a 3D printing project. So
of course. So we have,
there it is. There's the Canon LP 6.
E6, something like that. Yeah,
LP E6
on there, yeah. So
Canon
you've seen
batteries.
you've seen our camera monitor projects before. What we use this on. So we can definitely make a little 3D printing adapter for this using the adapter in the shop. Just have like a little bracket or something that adjusts
to mount it into place.
Okay. Exactly.
Cool. So there's a little one right there. You have it mounted to a little Manfrotto tripod. So it comes with the tripod adapter thing.
Yep.
So you can
see
set it
the
up.
difference. Yeah.
Big difference.
We're kind of covering it up, but yeah, it's like 6 of these put together. The bigger ones that we'll be using. So we're not going to carry the bigger ones. They're a little expensive, so we're going to carry the little smaller ones instead.
Sure. We'll talk about how you can get those once we get them in the shop. But we're evaluating them and checking them out. We really like them and using them right now. Actually, the big ones over there, and we still got to replace these 2 other ones. So.
Yeah. So we have a battery indicator on here, and of course, like you were saying, we have the 56 to 32K, so you can adjust the colors in between there. And then you have your brightness and adjustment on there, and these give a very accurate color,
full blast.
temperature reproduction.
Full blast.
Oh.
Crazy. All right. Well,
but yeah, like we were saying, it comes with the cold shoe and the 1/4-20 underneath, so you can mount this to a tripod.
Very handy.
Yeah, this will go on to like your Canon or whatever hot cold shoe top of the camera adapter, and very handy. Little LED for doing documentation. I know a lot of makers usually forget to do documentation, but this will be very handy for getting very nice lid shots to making your step-by-step guides.
All right, let's run through the next thing. Okay, so yeah, we'll talk more about it once we get them in the shop.
Yeah, we're also thinking about doing like barn doors so we can more focus light.
All right, well, let's quickly check out what we have here. We want to remind you guys, the Halloween prop contest is still going on. 170 entries, 20 days left.
That's right.
Be sure to check this out if you want to win some awesome prizes. So many entries are so good, man. These judges are going to have a hard time picking all this stuff. I got to run through this pretty quick, but of course, win a printer, win some camera. A lot of chances to win, folks. So if you've got an Instructables account, or if you don't, be sure to sign up for one and post up some photos of your project, and a little bit of instructions goes a long way.
That's right.
So that's the Halloween prop contest. Okay, next up, let's go and check out this new segment, Community Makes. Folks, we want to give you some sort of, we want to award you guys for making our projects, okay? We want to start giving out prizes and things, so let us know what kind of ideas you guys have. There's a trivia question, of course, on Ask an Engineer and on Becky's show. She picks a question out of a hat. We want to do something a little bit interesting, so guys, we want to work with you to figure that out. So what we're going to start doing, though, is just doing a spotlight on folks that are making our projects, that finish the projects. Let's take a look at our Thingiverse. This is the best way to let us know you've made a project. I follow a lot of you guys on Instagram, and you guys post this, but when you post a make on our project, it really touches us a lot. And helps us a lot.
It's more than that. We have we run statistics for every month, and this really helps us out in figuring out who's actually making this. Post on Instagram is great and all, but that's not actually,
please keep doing it.
That's not actually going into a graph.
Right.
It's not actually being saved where everybody else can see that, this project is, you can make this. This is doable.
Look at this. This is your last week's project, the Wasp font, which we thought nobody could print because this thing's huge.
Yeah, even
Carl
we had problems.
Spackler, big shout out to you, sir. You win this week's awesomeness. So he printed out your Wasp helmet here, and he didn't just upload photos of the thing. He posted
detailed instructions,
very detailed,
on all the settings that he used, what printer he's using.
Just take a look real quick here. He printed it at 0.35 layer height. He's printing on his customized G-Max 1.5 printer, an E3D Volcano hot end. Printing it, he figured out how to print it pretty fast. The total print time was 14 hours.
Yeah,
it took like 30-something hours.
Yeah,
right? And we use 2 different printers. So he breaks down prints per piece. So that's really, really awesome. He
even handy little tips like using a brim on
that's
the bottom.
Yeah.
Not too big,
Not
just enough.
bed.
Yeah, just enough so that it doesn't warp.
Yeah.
So very cool little tips like that.
Very, very cool. So check that out, folks, and please start posting the make. All you got to do is click on our project, and there's a button right over here that says I made this. And when you click on that, you get 2 little boxes, right? You upload your photo and your description.
What it's doing is just connecting it to the main project, so we can see, so everybody can see that people are making
It's proof
these.
that people can make this, folks. Like, this is awesome. So big shout out, of course, to Carl. Thank you so much for posting this. This really, we're gonna start doing this like every week now, I think.
Yeah. So this is the best way to let us know that our projects work.
Yes,
that you've
thank
made
you.
it. Of course, we like seeing them on Instagram. But again, when we run our monthly statistics on what's going on,
we gotta know who's making
we
what.
need real numbers. Yeah, we can't, really.
And of course, we want to incentivize you folks. So this is one way to do it, just to spotlight you and give you a nice little spotlight. Another spotlight, Andrew Scott. Thank you so much, man.
Come up with the idea, yeah.
Yeah, I think he gave us the sort of idea and the encouragement, like, hey, it'd be really cool on the show if you started sharing people's stuff. And
this made us think, oh yeah, well maybe people should hit that I made button.
Well, yeah, of course we got to tell you why. It helps us all out.
Exactly, yeah.
So, okay, and again, folks, we want to do those prizes and give you out some free components and things from Adafruit. So, let us know in the comments if you have any. We want to engage with you guys. This is for you. We're sponsored by you. So, let us know, man.
Yeah,
this is it. We're a big family here. So, we want to help you make yours keep on making. That's right. All right. Well, I'm running out of time. I got to jump into the Q&A. So, let's go ahead and take a look at the Q&A. Pretty picture.
Remember, you can ask questions on the videos. We'll gather them up for a future episode.
That's right.
Start off with Stephen Rice.
Stephen Rice, question for you guys. Noe Pedro, I backed the Tico 3D printer a few months back, and I wanted your opinion. Here's a link to the Kickstarter. Keep up the good work, and I can't wait to hear what you think. Yeah, we have heard about this. A lot of people have heard about this one. This Tiki printer is like $2 million type. Tico, yeah, $2 million.
Again, we have a policy here at Adafruit.
Yes, we're
not allowed to post
Kickstarters. Because a lot of Kickstarters are flaky and sometimes they don't work out, we are not allowed to post them on the blog until they're fully filled. Now, that doesn't mean to say that the Tico team isn't bad. It looks like, just by looking at it, we don't know too much about it, but it looks like at least once a month.
They're having like the usual woes of, you know,
they're
when
being
you
transparent
first
about
start.
it.
Yeah.
They're being transparent about it. You can read all about it here. I'm sure you already know about it, but it's nice to be able to come in here and see, like, okay, they're very transparent about it. They're telling us exactly what the problems are, having a little bit of manufacturing. They get the stuff back, and maybe it's a little bit not too perfect. They're really prying on, we want to have it perfect, so that's good. Yeah. Their team is pretty small, but hopefully they're growing, and at least an update once a month. Of course, we would like to see an update like every week, but it's really hard to do that. But
that's one of the biggest things too. People that do the Kickstarters, they've never manufactured anything before. There's always headaches with that.
And there's always headaches, for design for manufacturer. It's a $180 retailed printer. That's incredibly cheap. That is crazy. Losing money. That is way cheaper than the M3D, right? Yeah. And M3D, you know, they pulled it through. They're already shipping. I'm not, you know, I'm not trying to compare them like that, but I hope this comes up pretty good as far as like you know, like settings and things or feature sets. I hope it's good stuff. So we're taking a look at it, and let us know how it is when they get to you. Okay, overextended there, but let me go back to the Q&A. Thank you, Stephen Rice, for that question. Very interested in this printer. Next one, this was from TechWiz. Adafruit, could you please build me one? I will pay you $75. This is the Mini Mac Pi. So what's cool thing is that we actually have a jobs board on Adafruit.com. If anyone ever wants to build our projects or wants to pay someone to build it, that is where you go. You go there, or you can go on Fiverr or something like a website and just request to have it built. We have all the plans, all the parts. You can buy it and build it, but we really think you're going to save money.
Just go buy a printer because
go buy a printer, go to your library,
the average time
do the makerspace, go to 3D Hubs.
Especially this
options.
model takes about 6 hours to print, and a lot of agencies charge $100 an hour for it.
So yeah, you're going to learn a lot when you do this. So I again recommend.
And that's just
building it yourself.
That's just hours of parts. Yeah, that's not even the component cost.
But yeah, if you really want someone to you know, Adafruit jobs for him. All right, next one. This one's from Taylor or Tyler, TCBB. Is this for sale for anyone at the moment? The LED gas Mac I made last week. Again, Adafruit jobs board. Like, that's where you want to go, or build it yourself. Please build it yourself, right? And then sell it to other people. Like, you can do that too. All right, Riley's stopping by. Riley, what's up, man? He has his own YouTube channel. Check him out if you haven't already. Do you think it'd be possible for the micro 3D printer to run off a battery like the PrinterBot Junior?
Yeah, so if you checked out the interview that we had with Michael, the CEO Michael from M3D, you can see.
He said totally, yeah, you can.
Runs off of 5 volts, and
you were chatting with Phil B about it too.
Yeah,
so trying to calculate how long it would take.
Exactly, yeah. So
I want to go on a bike ride and be like 3D printing. That's my goal. So yeah, Riley,
totally. Stay tuned on that.
Stay tuned on that one. Next question. This is from Juan Biondi. Are you planning to make a video on how to use the microprint software? Please. I have problems with the print sticking to the bed. I had to calibrate the bed and so on with the original software, but nothing works as good as the first 3 prints. Something crazy. I'm even planning to use the Thingimatic heated bed to hack the M3D so it has a heated bed.
So definitely check out the forums for this. There are quite a bit of people have already done this, and as far as making a tutorial for the software, it's pretty intuitive.
It's intuitive.
Yeah, there's no.
That's why we like it. So all right, the next one was so Blue Painter's tape. Why are you using Blue Painter's tape? Is it better?
I ruined the build tack that it came with. It just added some
acetone and build tack doesn't work well, folks.
Yeah,
it'll get rid of that texture and unlevel the bed. So you don't want to use that. So what cool thing is you can rip off the adhesive. You can just rip off that build tape. Put a new painter's tape on there. It's got a perf board under that little thing.
Yeah, so what I found out is you actually have to use 2 pieces of tape to maintain the flatness. A nice flatness of it.
Not those little holes and stuff that you get from the perf board. Yeah. So that's it. Good question. Another owner of the M3D. If you haven't already, if you are an owner of the M3D and you're a Mac user, go check out that software and sign up to the support forum. Definitely. All right, next question. Thank you, Kwan, for that one. This is going to be, I think, one of the last. Yeah, when does the Pocket PiGRRL get back in stock? Pocket PiGRRL kit?
Yeah, so there is always a notify me button when things are out of stock. So just put in your email there, you'll be notified as soon as they're back in stock.
That's right.
We also are now on Monoprice, and it looks like they had a nice stock.
That's why we're out of stock, folks. Yeah. They bought all the stock of the Adafruit
So definitely check that out too. We're also in
Micro Centers?
All sorts of other stores. So if wherever we are, buy it there. I mean, you're still buying it off of us. So.
That's right, of course. So
check those
there's
other-
many options. Check those out. Monoprice. I'll have it linked below. They do have it in stock because they bought all our stock. Okay, this is the last question, I think. This is from Blood Prince Gerhardt. Can I use this with a phone? This is the HDMI display for the Raspberry Pi.
I
works with
believe
any
so.
HDMI.
Yeah,
It
any
works with anything.
HDMI. I'm sure there's a Lightning to or.
If you have an iPhone, there's
yeah,
probably
you didn't say which phone. Yeah.
Right, I didn't say which phone, but with our phone, their iPhone, there
Yep.
is a little adapter you would have to get. Some of the Android phones or Windows phones probably have the little mini.
I think they do.
So you can find
What
a
is it,
cable.
Type D or Type C?
Type C.
Yeah,
Probably
they
Type
do
C
have
or
those.
micro. There's mini and micro now, and
Yep.
we're waiting on Nano.
Definitely check those out.
Yeah,
There's always cable for outputting HDMI.
Thank you for the question, Mr. Blood Prince Gerhardt.
I think that's
this
gonna
is
do
the
it.
last question.
Oh.
One last one. The TikTok, Mr. TikTok is asking, where is the micro USB port for charging on the bone conductor?
Yeah, so this was before we had the little charger.
Yeah, this is before the LiPo backpack, and that was actually specifically designed by Lamar for our type of projects, or everyone's type of projects, really, the small ones. So, we
It's a
have
project we
bigger,
could
we have bigger bone conductors now, so
Yeah,
we can
so we
make
can
like
revisit
make your
this,
whole
yeah.
table into a speaker. So down the line, we're going to try to do that. A really cool one. Thank you, TikTok, for that one. That's going to do it for the Q&A, though. Again, if you want to ask your questions, all you got to do is, well,
Just leave it in any of the videos.
answer your question. If you want us to answer your questions, all you got to do is leave them in the video, like Pedro saying. And I'm out of breath.
Don't forget this week's coupon code. Get
Thank you.
10% off with Pi Tablet. And of course, all the free goodies that come along with that, depending on how much you spend. And of course,
Purple flying.
it's going to be, I think, next week's project.
That's gonna be next week's
Doing all the
project.
assembly for that right now, so definitely
yeah.
stay tuned for that.
Okay. Well,
Got a lovely assortment of links that you can also follow us
thank you.
on.
I almost forgot about that. Oh, man. I'm losing it. Sorry, folks. Here it is. So the links, of course, a lot of guides. Check out the Halloween playlist on YouTube.
That's right.
Learn.adafruit.com is where you're going to get all the guides, all the code, all the lovely components from Adafruit. And you can follow us, of course, on Twitter, Instagram, Thingiverse. Again, don't post your make, man. We're going to feature you guys. So, and prizes, please, ask us about the prizes.
Follow us on all the social medias for all the behind the
yes,
scenes.
yes.
And of course, our lovely assortment of shows.
I love those summer stars. Starting off, Wearable Electronics with Becky Stern. You can actually win prizes there.
That's right.
Yes, you can. So check
Up
her out.
Right after that, come check us
Not
out
right after
on.
that. At 7:30, we got the show and tell show in the evening, Eastern time. But this is where you get your chance to chat with Lamar and Phil and show us what you're working on, maker spaces,
We're always
projects.
there. Stop
We're
by,
always
say
there.
hi.
Tony's always there. Phil B sometimes stops by and eats people because he's a dragon. Ask an Engineer is a full hour of Lamar and Phil, new products, Raspberry Pi, Arduino, open source, and more. Good stuff there, so check that out. That's the whole lineage of shows, then our show. Of course, if you pick up some stuff, you get some free stuff if you pay if you spend like $100 or more.
That's right. Don't
Your
forget
free
all those
stuff.
awesome deals. Only last while supplies last.
While supplies last, they're going out fast, folks. Pi
Again-
tablet, not P-Dub, P-Dublet. That's gonna do it for this show, folks. Thank you so much. We're not, we don't have any VC, we don't have any loans. We are sponsored by you folks.
That's right.
So
We get to make
please,
this show for you guys.
It's for you.
We get paid to make these awesome projects, so definitely check them out. Support us
Thank you so much.
to go out there.
Until
and
then,
make.
yeah. Until then, keep on and make it. We'll see you guys next week.
See you
Thank
guys.
you, folks.